What up, Laker Nation? It's your boy DTLF, man. Back with the final post grade, postseason grade um, a video. I'm sorry, not postseason. End of the season, end of the regular season grade video. Now, this video, I was going to drop an actual video just with the slideshow and all that, but I decided to come to you guys live simply because I wanted to interact with you guys. There's a lot of things to talk about. We're hearing about all these new rumors with Magic Johnson and everything. And, more stuff is starting to develop. So we're going to dive a little into that later. But first, I want to get into the end of the season grades. I'm also going to, divulge to you guys whether we should keep each player. We're going to go player by player, and then we're going to end up with the coaching staff, and then with the front office as well. So we're going to judge everybody. I'm doing good, guys. How you guys doing today? All right. Without further ado, let's kick it off with Jamario Jones, a player we recently called up from the South Bay Lakers. This guy, he showed us that he has a good nose for the ball, and he's a pretty solid defender. We even had Stu Lance comparing this guy at one point to Tony Allen. So this guy averaged 4.5 points per game and 8.2 rebounds. I'd say bring him back. Of course, he's going to only warrant a cheap contract, but if we have an open roster spot, why not bring him back, even if it's a two-way contract? I definitely say bring him back. We need more players like that play hard. My final grade for him, even though it was a small sample size, is a C+. And the reason I'm giving him a C+ is because Jamario Jones does not have a jumper. His handles are questionable, and his ability to finish around the basket. He missed a couple of layups there at the end of the stretch. But other than that, everything else, the intangibles, the dirty work, would you typically need a player like that to do? He does for you. So I say bring him back, and my final grade for him is a C+. Moving on, Tyson Chandler. Tyson Chandler is somebody that we liked him when we acquired him as a vet, as somebody who can potentially, come in and help lead the locker room along with LeBron and Rondo and the rest of the veterans. So Tyson Chandler averaged 3.1 points per game and 5.6 rebounds. Now, do I want to bring him back? No, because I feel like he's past his prime. He had trouble. I mean, he had a nice little impact for the first 4 or 5 games, but after that, he disappeared for the rest of the season, right? So Tyson Chandler, do I bring him back? I do not bring him back. I think that roster spot could go to somebody else, probably somebody else from this list, and that I'm going to talk about later. But for now, I'm going to have to end the season by giving Tyson Chandler a D+. And he only got that from me because of his 4-game impact he had when we first got him. So, yeah, Tyson Chandler, I say move on from him. There's somebody else who might deserve the roster spot. I know we still need veterans to lead this group, but, I say move on from Tyson. I'm going to go into the comment section with all these right after I'm done, but I just want to get through this list. The next person we have is probably somebody that became a fan favorite, at the end of the season, and that is Alex Caruso. Poor man's Ginobili, rich man's Jeremy Lin. He finished the season averaging 9.2 points per game with 3 assists, and he shot a pretty decent percentage from the field in his 25-game stint. Remember, he was a two-way call-up, I believe, and he only played with us for less than 25 games. So what do I believe about Alex Caruso? I believe he should come back. He earned it, absolutely. And I say, yes, bring him back. My final grade for him is a B because he did a great job of playmaking. He did a great job of scoring for us when needed with all these injuries and just running the team. I think he would be solid off the bench next season. Now, remember, I'm grading each player individually based on my expectations for him. So just because, let's say I was to give LeBron a lower grade doesn't mean that he's a worse player than Caruso. All I'm saying is, and I'm not saying that I'm going to give LeBron a lower grade. Listen, all I'm saying is that each player is going to get graded on my expectations for each player and what role they played and the improvements they've made. Caruso has made a good improvement since this would be probably his 3rd year with us since we first started playing him when we called him up. He's made great improvement. Now, we got him from, I believe, the Texas Legends or something like that. It was the Oklahoma, or was it the OKC Thunder G League development team? I don't remember, but 3 years ago we brought him up, and he didn't get a lot of playing time. But slowly but surely he's starting to carve out his niche, and I think he can really crack the rotation next season consistently off the bench for us. So again, Caruso, I gave him the grade of a B just based on us having no expectations for him and him exceeding that and even creating some sort of expectations for him moving into the season. Now, I don't know if you guys saw the exit interviews. I didn't really get to see Alex Caruso's. I know some of the exit interviews are still going on, but I was very disappointed in the front office by not showing their face. So Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, all these guys, I'm gonna get in and I'm gonna get into them close to the end of the video. But for now, let's move on to Jonathan Williams. Jonathan Williams, guys, from the moment we brought him up, he was an undrafted player. We brought him to a G League team. He played with the South Bay Lakers, and then we brought him up from time to time. He has really impressed me with his hard work, his ability to crash the glass, block shots, rim protect, and he's pretty athletic. He finishes with either hand around the basket. I really like him a lot. Jonathan Williams, I think he averaged 6.5 points per game and 4 rebounds in limited minutes. I say bring him back because he will be cheap. Even if it's on a two-way contract, bring him back. My grade for him, based on what he brought to the team, which is exactly what our weakness was, rebounding and defense, I give him a C+. I really like what he brought. His energy is infectious. We didn't have too many serviceable centers, and the ones we didn't get playing time, like Zubats, who, by the way, is not in this video because he's no longer a Laker, so I decided not to include, players that we no longer have moving forward. So Jonathan Williams gets a C+ for me, and I say bring him back. What do you guys think about that? Put in the comment section. But the next player we have, of course, is the only superstar we have on the team right now, and that's LeBron James. LeBron James had a typical LeBron year, 27.4 points per game, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Of course, I say bring him back unless there's a new GM that wants to start from scratch and, build from the ground up. But LeBron James, to me, because I had higher expectations for him as a leader, and he kind of let me down for the first 2/3 of the season. He started kind of embracing the role after the trade deadline. I give him a B-. And it's not for lack of skills. Again, it's the leadership role. When you have a superstar with a bunch of young players, they're going to look up to him for advice. They're going to look up to him for impact, right? And I don't feel like he made that impact on the young core this season. I might be wrong. Again, I'm not in the locker room, so maybe I'm wrong. But from what I saw from outside looking in after trade deadline and all that, pointing fingers at your teammates and playing the blame game, trying to wash your hands, is not acceptable for me from any leader. So to me, he gets a B-, simply because I expect a lot more from the great LeBron James. But of course, I say bring him back and continue to build with him, not around him, because building around him means getting rid of everything that he requests and getting him anything he requests. So I say that. LeBron James, B-, bring him back and build with him on the roster. Next player is probably the most controversial player on this list, and that's KCP. Again, guys, save most of your comments for after I'm done with the list because I'm going to really go into it with you guys, go back and forth. So just let me get it all off my chest, all the grades and everything. Have my notes right here. KCP is the most controversial player on this list. You guys know how I felt about him for like 2/3 of the season, but he kind of started changing my mind a little bit towards the end because I saw the potential. Now, remember, KCP, I believe, just turned 25. So he's still relatively young. It's not like he can't get better, right? But KCP averaged 11.4 points per game, 2.9 rebounds. And, I say let him go unless he comes back for cheap. Now, this is how you're going to know if KCP truly means to improve and is really going to start playing hard from this moment on, because this could very well be fool's gold. Him playing well at the end of the season could be him contract hunting, right? So what I say is offer him like a $4 to $5 million contract for like a 1-year deal with a 1-year opt-in, and we'll go from there. My final grade for him is C-. It would have been a little bit higher had he did it consistently, but when we really needed him, he didn't come through. He really stepped his game up once the season was over. So KCP, again, he gets a C- for me only because he stepped up in the end and he showed me that he can be a consistent shooter if he really tries. So that's why he didn't get a D or a F from me. If he would have continued with his garbage inconsistent play throughout the season that he did for the 2/3 of the first half of the season, then I would have gave him probably an F because he was really getting on my nerves. But again, he really improved his game towards the end, and we're going to have to find out if he was doing it for the money or not. If he takes a cheap contract from us, then, if he wants to take a role off the bench, he could be crucial because we didn't have a lot of shooting, and we still need to add more shooting. But the way he played to end the way he played to end the season, I give him a C-. And again, you may agree or disagree with me, but that's what I'm going to give him moving forward. Now, Isaac Bonga, man, the project player that we have on the roster, it almost seems like every year the Lakers have a project player, somebody that we're not too sure about, that's still very raw, right? In the past, we've had players like that in the past as well, and sometimes they work out. Andrew Bynum, sometimes they don't. Devin Ebanks, right? We don't know. All we know is that he's still very raw, and we don't know what he's gonna be. He averaged 0.9 points per game in limited minutes. He really didn't get a chance, and 1 rebound. I say keep him, but on a G League two-way contract, because you don't want to give up on any projects too soon. We keep him on the G League two-way contract. My final grade for him is D-, simply because he didn't show any consistent shooting, ball handling, or playmaking. He showed maybe a handful of nice plays this season, but that's about it. So I give him a D-, and I hope that he continues to improve from here. He still looks very raw. He still looks not ready. That's the only reason he gets such a low grade for me. But I still like the prospect of having a potential 7-footer with ball handles that could attack the rim, right? What's up, everybody? Welcome to live stream. If you're late, this is the end of the season grades. Again, I was going to drop a video, but I'd rather go back and forth with you guys. As soon as I'm done with the list, I'll address all you guys' comments and concerns. Up next, man, we have probably the most hated Laker simply, and it's not even his fault. It's just because of the trade that we didn't want, and that's Mike Muscala. All right. He ended up the season averaging 5.9 points per game with the Lakers with 2 rebounds. Not to be mean or anything, but I say cut him. He's kind of a waste of a roster spot. It was a bad trade, and it's just going to be, Mike Muscala is going to be one of those players that's going to be taken for granted simply because of that trade. He can probably never live up to what Zubac would have lived up to, and for that reason, I'm not going to be too mean to him. I'm not giving him an F, but he's getting a D- from me because he really didn't show much. The last couple of games were his best, and those really didn't count much to me. So Muscala gets a D-, and I say cut him. It would be a waste of a roster spot to bring him back. He's not a consistent shooter. He's not really consistent in anything. He shows glimpses of little things here and there, but what we need moving forward is consistency. So Muscala doesn't fall into that category. I say cut him. Up next, we got the other trade piece that we got for Svi Mykhailiuk, and that's Reggie Bullock. He ended up the season averaging 11.3 points per game and 2.7 rebounds. Now, this guy, I'm more on the fence about what we should do with him, guys. Reggie Bullock, when he first got here, he showed some good defense. He showed he could be a good on-ball defender. He showed he could cut really well, and he could stretch the floor in spurts. Now, the thing about Reggie is that, to me, what we do with him moving forward is going to depend on what he commands on the open market. If he's asking for more than 3 to 5, I'm not giving it to him. If he's coming cheap, I'm talking 1.5 to 3, I'm giving it to him probably because we need shooting, and any sign of shooting, I say that we should keep around. That's why I'm still on the fence about KCP, depending on the price point. But Reggie Bullock, to me, again, depends on what he commands on the open market, and then if there's better options out there for us, that'll depend whether we should bring him back. Final grade for him is an average C because that's what he was this year, and I feel like he didn't really get too much of a chance to shine because of injuries to himself as well. But, pretty much, yep, he gets an average C from me, which I think is more than fair. I wouldn't pay him more than $3 million, honestly, because he's not a proven player. I mean, his best spurt was with the Detroit Pistons, who pretty much have been irrelevant. So, yeah, Reggie Bullock gets a C. Moving on, Josh Hart. Josh Hart, man. Josh Hart, the reason he had a tough season was injuries. He had a great rookie season last year. He showed a lot of potential. We wanted more minutes. He got more minutes, but he was playing injured. Now, Josh Hart ended the season averaging 7.8 points per game and 3.7 rebounds. We know that when healthy, though, that can go up. He can pretty much play the KCP role. He is a 3-and-D guy. He showed it to me during the summer league and in spurts during his rookie season. And I think Josh Hart, if he stops playing Fortnite and he focuses on his skills and recovering his body, I think he will be very good for us moving forward. But due to injuries, I will have to give him a harsh grade, and that is a C- because he was below average this year. He went on a horrible stretch where he couldn't make a shot, So we're going to need him to focus next year and rehab and get better. I still like Josh Hart a lot, and I hope that he continues to have a bright future with the Lakers, man. Josh Hart is a very, very he has good potential, guys. Honestly, as a two-way player in this league, and I can't wait to see what his future holds with the Lakers. So he gets a C- for me, but it's not really his fault. It's injuries and Fortnite. So moving forward, guys, here's where it starts getting really good. I saved the best for last. Up next, I got Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma made a jump from last year. Let's be real. Kyle Kuzma made a jump, all right? He went from averaging 16 points per game, or was it 15.9 last year, to 18.7 points per game, 5.5 rebounds. He improved on defense. His playmaking got better. However, he balled out for 2/3 of the season. He took the final third off, and that is because of the trade rumors. After that, he was never the same, and I hope that he can regain his form. I love Kyle Kuzma. You guys know he's my favorite young Laker. I love his mentality. I love his personality. He says a lot, and I think it's funny. I was watching his exit interview, and I had the counter on, and he said probably about close to 100 times. So, he must have been nervous after the exit interviews. I don't know what they told him, but he definitely made a leap this year. I just feel like the trade rumors killed the final third of a season, and for that reason, because he wasn't consistent for the whole year, like I said, he took the final third off. I give him a B+, and that would have been higher had he continued to kill it like he did during the first 2/3 of the year. Matter of fact, you know what? Because he took the final third, I'm gonna give him a B. I'm gonna lower his grade a little bit. A B sounds fair. B+. That extra plus to me is he had to do a little bit extra. Again, had Kuzma continued to kill it, we probably would have even made the playoffs. He probably would have carried LeBron's injuries. And unfortunately, like I said, his confidence wasn't the same after the trade rumor. So I hope that he works really hard this offseason because he's making that leap, guys. He went from 16 to 18. Next year, I expect a 20. And if he does that, then that grade is going to rise for sure. But I love my boy Kuz, and I want him to I say definitely keep him. Sky's the limit for him. Unless a trade of an all-star comes through, like a really good all-star, then I definitely would not trade him. So, in the words of the great Kuz, man, I say keep him definitely. Next up, man, is my favorite two-way player on the Lakers. This is a player, I think you guys know exactly who it is. Log in your votes now if you know who I'm talking about. The best defensive and playmaking player on the Lakers who we missed after injuries deeply. That's right, man. He once was a part of Big Baller Brand. Now he's his own man, and that pleases me. That pleases me greatly, guys. The fact that he's finally coming out of his shell. He said it today in his exit interview. He's going to make his own decisions moving forward. So all of this rumors about him not being his own man, and there were mixed and confusing rumors about LeVar still making decisions. He's making his own decisions now. And let's not forget that when he was healthy, guys, this guy averaged 9.9 points per game, 5.3 rebounds. I say definitely keep him because when he's healthy, we were a top 5 defensive team in the league. Top 5 for sure. He more than showed us his value. Plus, he's now becoming his own man. So for those reasons, my final grade for him is a B, just like Kuz. Why? Why is it not a B+ or an A? Simply because the last couple seasons he's been injured. He needs to take care of his body better. He needs to rehab and come back 100% healthy. He needs to have a good off season and get stronger because, man, I don't know if it's the Big Baller Brand shoes or what. He got some weak ankles, and we don't want to have the same problems that Steph Curry was having early in his career. So he gets a B, and it's ironic because he was part of the Big Baller Brand, but he gets another B, man. Now he's quadruple B. So pretty much, I'll tell you what, he needs to work on his jump shot. He needs to work on his free throws. He still has a lot of room for improvement. That's why he doesn't get a higher grade. And but his defense definitely elevated us. His ability to run the tempo, push the pace, and just a great overall floor general when he's on the floor. Now that's the key. We need Lonzo to learn how to stay on the floor. We need him to eat healthier because I've seen his live his TV series show with his family or whatever, and he doesn't eat very healthy. He eats like me, and I'm not a professional athlete. I can get away with eating pizza and macaroni and cheese and stuff like that from time to time. But he's a professional athlete. He needs to eat healthier. If he wants to eat meat, he needs to eat that healthy meat. From the cows that eat only grass and stuff like that. What do they call it? Non-pasteurized or something like that? I forgot what they call it. But grass-fed. I think it's grass-fed meat. That's what he needs to eat, guys. And he needs to just stay on a healthy tip. That way he doesn't get injured as much. Because believe it or not, your body, all right, is your temple, and you have to take care of it. The more you take care of it, the more probable it is that you can avoid injuries. Now, some injuries are unavoidable; they're freak accidents, but he just needs to be better at eating better. And I love Lonzo. I wish him the best. I'm proud of him for becoming his own man. I feel like a papa, and we're watching this young man grow before our eyes. He's already a top defensive player in this league, and I expect him to get even better as a floor general and a point guard. So again, I saved the best for last, man. You guys know who's at the top of my list, and in my opinion, he's the one who had the best season. He's the one who stepped out of the shadows and became the player that we thought we drafted. You know who I'm talking about, guys. Now, I saw him today in the exit interviews, and he looked a little depressed, so I hope that his spirits rise, and I think what doesn't kill you will make you stronger. But how about that young man, Brandon Ingram, man? Brandon Ingram, and it's beyond stats. It's his mentality. He developed the killer mentality towards the end of the season. He was averaging 27 points per game, shooting over 50% from the field to end the season, and you have to love this kid, man. He's going to be special. He's only 21. 18.3 points per game, 5.1 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block per game. We have to keep this kid at all costs. He showed me superstar potential, which kind of separates him a bit from the other young guys. Again, like I mentioned, before he went down with injury, he had showed me that he was who we thought he was. In the great words of Herm Edwards, we drafted a young stud and a potential future superstar. And if he continues trending in this direction and just stays healthy, he will be very special. And it is for that reason that he is my last grade on the list, and he gets an A. Not an A+, but an A, because he went above and beyond what my expectations were for him this season. And like I said, had he not got injured, I'm sure he would have ended the season really strongly, and he would have probably been another pinpoint in recruiting free agents, him and LeBron together. So Brandon Ingram gets, my salutes. He definitely grew. He definitely got better. And this young man has a bright future. He's going to be really, really good. I say keep him at all costs. Do not include him in any trade packages because I think when it's all said and done, barring any crazy injuries, God forbid, or anything like that, moving forward, he will be a top 10 player in this league. You guys heard it here first. I've been saying it. He has that potential. So all he needs is a proper coach to develop him. And I think sky's the limit for Brandon Ingram. That wraps it up for the player portion of the grades for the year. Now I'll go to the comment section for a little bit before I continue with the front office. What do you guys think of my grading system this year? Do you guys agree? Do you guys think that maybe I was too harsh on a player or whatever? Hit me up. Let me know right now what you guys think. He said, on point, Dan. He said, hey, Dan, listening to ESPN 710, they are talking about an article that ESPN is coming out about Magic Johnson and dealing with employees. I hope we don't have something bad coming down here. Again, if they're coming down with something, then we'll have to wait and see. But, it's unfortunate what happened. Luis says he agrees. He said, what did you give LeBron? LeBron, let me go back and check my grades over here. LeBron James, from me, got a B- because I expected so much more from him as far as leadership and working with what he had on the roster instead of expecting trades and stuff like that. That's the only reason why. He said, we saw eye to eye on most players, Dan. There you go. I appreciate that, brother. He said, Luke needs to go simply due to the unable to develop players properly, among many other things. I agree with Indo, and I'm going to get a little bit into that in a bit. I just need to make sure I touch bases with you guys. I don't want to exclude you guys when I'm doing these videos. He said, Dan, why hasn't Luke got fired? My only theory is that they're going to hire another president of basketball operations to make all these decisions. Or maybe they wanted him to finish the exit interviews. But I don't know, but we're going to find out in the next couple of days. They are keeping Pelinka. I got something about Pelinka that's going to interest you guys. I got something for you guys to sink your teeth in about Rob Pelinka coming up, and I think it's going to disappoint a lot of us, especially me, who I thought was on the same page with Magic. He said, Dan, you are a poised young man. Keep up the good work. May the Father keep blessing you on this journey and being a journalist. Thank you so much, Frank. I truly appreciate you, man. Much love to you guys. All the support you guys show me keeps me going, brother. Thank you. Dan and Lakers fam here, would you hold it against him if LeBron wanted out after the Magic situation? Not at all. If LeBron wants out, it'll be understandable because Magic was the one who brought him here. Matter of fact, I think it'll clear things up a little bit more and put less pressure on the young core if LeBron did want out. However, I don't expect LeBron to want out, and I think LeBron is here to stay and to try to bring a championship, regardless of whoever's in the front office. He said Luke deserves another season. Let's agree to disagree, and I'll get into that a little bit more in a bit. Just taking a couple more comments before I continue with my list here. Yeah, Brandon Ingram got an A. He was the only player this season for me that got an A because he showed me the whole package, especially down the stretch. A+ for you, Dan, LOL, and also for your channel and fans. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate it. You're too kind. You get an A+ as well. You guys have always been here, so I appreciate you guys, all you loyal fans, man. I am Rome. All you guys, man. I see you guys. Trust me, I pretty much, just like you guys have gotten to know me, I've gotten to know a lot of you guys, and you guys are probably the best fans that any YouTuber can have, man. So thank you so much. Dan, you worried about BI's health? No, he's expected to make a full recovery. I was worried about his mental state. He looked really sad, and I just wanted to reach out and give him a hug, man. Poor guy. He hasn't touched the basketball in probably weeks or months. I'm not sure. And he mentioned how that's all he knows. So he doesn't know what to do with his free time. Somebody buy this man an Xbox and send it to him. You know, he needs to keep his mind entertained. Send him a couple of books to read. That way it doesn't feel extremely long, you know. Thank you, Isaiah. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Dan, I want you to remember me from here on out. For sure, man. Hey, if you make smart comments in the comment section, I definitely remember all the people with high basketball IQ. So just keep putting out good, smart comments and letting the world know a piece of your mind. He said Dan gets an A+ for all the great, consistent content. Thank you, DJ. I appreciate that, brother. DJ Primetime. I think you follow me on Twitter, and I think I follow you. I'm not sure if you're the same guy I follow, but it looks like you yourself, man, putting in work. So shout out to you. He said, "True, Dan. You put in work the whole season. Respect. Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure. Honestly, this is not work for me. This is my life. I love basketball, man. If I wasn't doing this with you guys, I'd be doing it with friends, family, neighbors. That's all I know how to do is talk basketball, man. So thank you guys. I do appreciate the fact that you guys appreciate me, though, and all the love and support you guys show." He said, "I have a feeling Pelinka stays because apparently he and Magic didn't see eye to eye." I agree with you, Indo, and you know what? I'm going to get into that right now, and a couple more comments just to let you guys get your mind off. He said, "You're the only channel that's still going hard after the Lakers, and I appreciate you. Most of the YouTubers quit a couple of months ago. Thanks, Dan." Man, that means a lot, bro. Thank you. And you know what? That's the reason I do it, because I want Laker fans to see that even through the hard times, you know, we got to stay loyal, and we have to look at the little silver linings and everything, man. You know, there's certain YouTubers, I won't mention any names. I don't want to create enemies or anything like that, but they're always negative about situations. They're always looking to point the finger at somebody. But what you have to know is when you're in a team sport like basketball, it's never one person's fault. Everybody now wants to turn on Magic and say he's garbage. But I got something that's going to shock you guys coming up in just a bit, so stay tuned for that. But you know, it's never one person's fault. It's not even Genie's fault at this point. It's not Pelinka's fault. It's not all Luke Walton's fault. You know, everyone has a slice to take because everybody played a role, right? And then that's the bottom line. So again, thank you guys for all the love and support. I'm reading all you guys' comments, man. You guys are the best. Moving on, though, I want to talk about the front office because I have to dissect them. Starting with Magic Johnson. Now, Magic Johnson did not finish the job, and as much as I love him, you know, I have to give him an F based on that. He didn't finish. He didn't see it through. He made steps to put us in position to succeed, but he didn't see it through. So that's like, you know, that's like making dinner, but not cooking it all the way, and it's not edible. You know, you're not going to be happy, even though if it was looking promising, whatever you're cooking up in the kitchen, it might have looked appetizing, but if it's not cooked properly, you can't eat it. So, you know, Magic Johnson, unfortunately, he quit. I don't believe it was all his fault. If you guys watch First Take this morning, Stephen A's reporting, and Byron Scott and people that are well connected with the Lakers organization, they're reporting that that Pelinka, much to my disappointment, backstabbed Magic Johnson and pretty much threw him under the bus, and he basically became a snake in the front office and slithered his way to Jeannie Buss and won her ear over, and that is the reason they had a conflict of interest. You know, at the end of the day, let's be real. you can't function if your right hand man is trying to stab you. It doesn't work that way. So Palenka pretty much is a culprit in all of this as well. And for that reason, I'm giving him an F as well, because you have to have Magic Johnson's back whether you agree with him or not. You work for him. You should never try to get over him. And that's what ended up happening. I guess Palenka told Jeannie he's cool with Luke. You know, Luke is actually showing potential. And Magic Johnson said, heck no, we got to fire him. He's incompetent. He's not developing players. He's not doing what he has to do. His coaching staff is trash. And, you know, Jeannie ultimately went with Magic's decision, but Magic didn't want to be the bad guy and didn't want to be hated by Jeannie for firing Luke and hated by Rob. And that is the reason that he quit. So, you know, Rob Pelinka gets an F for being a snake and for basically having part in all this. Luke Walton. Now we're at Luke. Now, I know you guys have been waiting for me to trash Luke all season long, so here it is. Luke Walton is a big problem. All right, he's a horrible coach. No matter how much you want to twist and turn that, there's a lot of Luke supporters still. Luke Walton is trash. There's no way to explain it. I have no clue why certain people around the league still praise him and say that he did the best he could with what he had. He had something really good. You saw that even some of the players that he didn't give opportunities to in the G League were beating playoff teams. Luke Walton gets an F- from me. If there's a lower grade than that, then he would get a G. He would get an H. He would get a Z. That's how garbage he has been. And he is one of the main reasons that the whole front office has fallen apart, because they're fighting over this idiot who can't do his job right. If he had any dignity, he would step down. You know, I'm fed up with Luke Walton. I don't even want to see his face for a single day anymore. I hope whoever steps in is able to fire his ass, rehire him, and refire him again, because this trash is the reason that Magic Johnson stepped down. This trash is the reason we didn't make the playoffs. You know, he has zero basketball IQ. And has Luke did an exit interview? Absolutely not. He is garbage. He doesn't have the cojones to step up to the plate and answer the questions that he needs to answer. So I'll tell you what, man, Luke Walton gets an F-, and if there's a lower grade, he gets that. You know, and I have a lot of resentment towards Luke. I feel bad for Magic, because Magic actually wanted what we all wanted. He wanted to fire his ridiculous coaching staff and himself, and he wanted to, you know, he wanted to hire the right guy. I heard Mark Jackson was at the top of the list. I heard Tyronn Lue as well, but I think it would have been Mark, and I think glory days would have ensued. But instead, we got the snake that is Rob Pelinka now. We got Jeannie Buss being too emotional. Oh, no, Luke's my friend. She sounds like Michael Jackson, all extra emotional. No disrespect to the king of pop, but you can't be that attached. It's a business. You know, it's not your son. Fire Luke and be done with it. By the way, Jeannie lied, because she mentioned how she wouldn't interfere with anything basketball related, and she already has. So for that reason, I have to give Jeannie Buss an F too, you know, an F-, as a matter of fact, because she didn't stick to taking selfies and you know, accommodating celebrities or whatever the heck her job is. And I love Jeannie, but I have to be hard on her because I love the Lakers even more. And Jeannie Buss gets an F for not allowing Magic Johnson to do his job. And it's rumored, Stephen A. just reported that Magic Johnson was going to fire not just Luke Walton, but Rob Pelinka as well. And let's not forget that everybody wants to blame Magic Johnson for these trades, but Rob Pelinka is the GM. He's the one at the end of the day pulling the trigger. He's the one on the phones, right? And let's not forget that Magic Johnson was the one who closed the deal with LeBron James. It was not Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka wasn't even at the meeting that Magic and LeBron had. So that tells you everything, guys. That tells you everything, how dysfunctional this front office was, and how, you know, unfortunately, we are now in limbo, because I don't know. I'm scared. I don't know what direction the Lakers are going to have. We need a real leader. Jerry West comes to mind. You know, people like that. Masai Ujiri would be great. I'll be dropping a video of my top 5 candidates for the position, but dang, it's tough. And that's going to conclude my grading session, guys. It's everybody in the front office, coaching staff, everybody gets an F all the way around. You get an F, you get an F, you get an F. Because they didn't do their job properly, and they handcuffed, in the words of Magic Johnson, they handcuffed him, and he's a free bird. Anybody who's not allowed to do their job is going to quit. So that's really what happened, guys. We got to the bottom of it already, and I know more details are going to come out, but I'll definitely be covering it with you guys. Hey, thanks for the donation, bro. I appreciate it. He said, BI is going to be a superstar next year. Now, I don't know if he's going to be a superstar next year, but I do expect him to make that all-star leap if he's healthy. But overall, I do think he's going to be a superstar by the prime of his career. I do believe in him. I really do. Medical staff gets an F as well. The guy just got fired. You know, the head of the medical staff just got fired. I don't even know his name. He's not Gary Vitti, though. I'll tell you that. So he didn't get his contract renewed, and sayonara. I wish that they would clean house, though, because we need so many more people to go. But that concludes my grading system, guys. What do you guys think? Do you guys think I'm on point? Did I mess up on anybody? Was I too hard on? I know there's going to be some Luke supporters still. I don't know why. But, you know, did I mess up on any of the grades? Hit me in the comment section now. This is the reason I made my video like this and not how I was going to make it as a list because I want to interact with you guys. He said, why are Knicks fans so delusional? Man, every fan base has a delusional fan base, you know. You're good, Dan. You're good. Thanks, Luis. I appreciate that, bro. I'm glad we see eye to eye. He said, when the guys you have to play better when the guys who leave you tells us what you need to know about Luke. He said, when the guys you had play better when the guys who leave. Oh, you mean when the guys we had play better when they leave. Yeah, it definitely does tell you that they were being underutilized. I get your point, Julian. You're absolutely right. And that's why I'm so frustrated. Luke Walton, to me, is the most hated individual. And I don't hate people, but I hate the way he coaches. I would give him the biggest slice of the pie as far as blame goes because he's incompetent. He knows he is. He's way over his head with the Lakers head coaching job, and he refuses to step down. So he's going to drag us through the mud till somebody comes in and fires him. So that's sad. You on it, DTLF, all the way. Thanks, T. I appreciate it. He says, Chauncey Billups, what do you think? Or Thibs? Neither. We need somebody like Messiah Ujiri, like Jerry West, somebody with good experience to come in and just, clean house and do what they have to do. Somebody who's not afraid to tell Jeannie Buss, hey, I don't care if you love Luke, if you're having an affair with Luke or whatever. No disrespect. I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm saying I don't care what's going on. If you think he's your conjugal son, whatever, he's going to get fired. All right, because you gave me this job. Now let me do my job. Get the heck out of my way. Go take some selfies. Go, congratulate some people. Do what you do, Jeannie. Take care of PR. This is my job. You hired me for it. Let me do it. We need somebody who's going to be able to stand up and unfortunately, Magic is, too sensitive to that because that's his sister. And I understand it. But that's why you don't mix business with pleasure. Those guys are under contract for sure, but they can always quit or they can always leave the job. Dan, news broke out that the Lakers are keeping Pelinka. Well, if the Lakers are keeping Pelinka, man, he better make sure that it was worth, backstabbing Magic because let me tell you something. If everything comes crashing down, it's all going to fall on Rob Pelinka now. So if that's true, if that's legit, and I haven't even looked at my Twitter, but if that's legit, if the Lakers are keeping Rob Pelinka moving forward, then that means that, the theory that Stephen A. said, was true. He went around the back and stabbed for more power. Maybe he's going to be the one. Maybe he's going to be the one that's doing, that's making all the decisions from here on out. You don't mix business with family. Absolutely. Rob only stayed because of Kobe. Again, people want to point the blame finger, but at the end of the day, man, Kobe's not even involved in all of this. So, if Pelinka stays, then so be it. But he better do a way better job. He better stop trading players like Zubats for nothing, because he takes blame in that trade as well. He's the one making the phone calls, right? That's his job. But we'll see what happens moving forward. Dan, does Rob want Luke to stay? According to rumors, that's the case. And if that's the case, I'm going to be extremely mad. Love you too, Jesus. Love you, brother. He said Phil Jackson would be an excellent choice. I'm not sure if he's capable of doing a full-time job anymore, man. Not sure if he's capable at this point. I love Phil, but I think his time was done. I think what the Lakers need to stop doing is looking for the past heroes to come through that door and save us. We need people with experience and people who don't have any ties to the organization. It doesn't matter if they have ties or not. They have to have the track record and come in ready to make these tough decisions. I wish Magic wouldn't have cared whatever Jeannie said, because at the end of the day, winning cures everything. Once they started winning, Jeannie would have, probably went on ESPN and gave her story on 2020 about how she was upset with Magic for a while, but then he did what was right for the franchise. I mean, the writing was on the wall, and it's a shame. He said, love you, Dan. How do I donate, bro? I appreciate that, Cash. If you would like to support the channel, you can hit that little money symbol on the bottom. You could drop a comment and then, add the donation amount or whatever. That'd be great. Another way you could also donate, though, is my PayPal account. That's linked to my YouTube on my main page. So it's on the top right corner, and you'll see the donation symbol right there. So there's 2 ways to donate, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. It's the thought that counts. T says, I'm going to be pissed if Luke stays. Have a great one, Dan. Back to work, grind. All right, T, have a great day at work. I'm going to be upset, too, and I'm going to go off. I'm going to use this here platform to destroy the front office if they continue to be dysfunctional. Thanks, Cash. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. Dan, you get taxed by YouTube on donations? I do, actually. They take a 30% chunk. So, if you do want to donate, and for me not to get taxed, it's through PayPal. I receive the money immediately and in full. But again, thank you guys so much. I don't care where you guys donate through. If you donate, whatever comes to your heart, whether it be $1.50 or whatever, I appreciate it, man. That's all that counts. He said, watch every Knicks fan jump off the MSG Garden when they get the 5th pick in the draft. I don't wish bad on them, man. The Knicks have loyal fan base. I know sometimes they could talk, because New Yorkers like to talk, but I respect how loyal they are, man. And I feel like they deserve a good draft pick. Now, so do we. I wish the league would somehow rig it for we get the top pick, and all of a sudden everybody's going to want this job, and all of a sudden all the negative talk is going to disappear. We need something positive, Thank you so much, T. I appreciate you. Thank you. God bless you. You can use whatever you want, though. If you do want me to read the comment, this is where it's at, because on PayPal sometimes I don't check into like days later. So, I won't be able to thank you properly. So if you want me to thank you properly and read the comment, the donation goes here. However, if you don't, if you just want to donate to me personally, then PayPal is the way to go. But thank you guys again. It's the thought that counts. I just appreciate you guys' presence and participation with the channel. Dan, where's your PayPal? I missed what you said. It's on the top right corner on my main page. When you go to my main channel page, you will see there should be, I think, I haven't looked at it, but there should be like a link where it says donate. It has a smiley face on it as well. Today is my day off? Yes. Today is definitely my day off. I go back to work on Friday. Thanks, Ruthless. I appreciate you, bro. Thanks, Indo420. Thank you, boss. Thank you, man. He said, easy wins. Thanks for the donation, brother. He said, Mitch Robinson, 2nd in the league in blocks, by the way. And we really wanted Mitchell Robinson. You guys are lucky to have him, Knicks fans. They've done a good job of drafting, so I salute their front office for that. Just like the Lakers, though. I think the Lakers probably thought Mitchell Robinson was going to be available in the 2nd round because there was personality issues or whatnot. But Mitchell Robinson was really a lottery talent. Now, will he ever live up to that? I have no clue. But I do root for the kid. You guys know I love young talent, regardless of where they play. I even like Jason Tatum. I just don't root for him because he's a Celtic. But I always root for young talent. I wish them the best. Same thing for Mitchell Robinson. He said, when players found out what happened, they will come to the Lakers. They will not come to the Lakers. Again, I think JaVale McGee pretty much touched on the subject. He said, depends on who's in the front office by the time free agency rolls around. Let's say Masai Ujiri was there. He's known to build contenders quickly. He did it in Denver. He did it in Toronto. Jerry West is there. You better believe we're definitely getting free agents. So it depends what the Lakers do over the next couple of days. But we need somebody comparable, somebody that's able to do the job, somebody that has the keys to be able to fire Pelinka if they please, or Luke, or anybody, right? So yeah, that's what we need moving forward. Dan, what are your thoughts on Dwayne Wade and Dirk's final games tonight? Actually, weren't they last night, or were they the last games at home? I'm not sure. Man, I love these legends. It's a little nostalgic for me. Makes me feel like I'm getting old because I grew up as a kid watching guys like Wade and Dirk, and I admire their talent. Funny story, in elementary school, they used to call me Dirk because I used to post people up and fade away. I was taller than most kids in elementary. So, when Dirk was in his prime, killing it in Dallas, that was one of my ultimate compliments. My neighbors, when I used to bring out the hoop right here in my backyard, in my apartment complex, I had a little hoop that my mom had bought me. I used to bring it out when we used to play. My neighbors would call me Dirk as well. So pretty much, Dirk's always been one of my favorite players. I hate Mark Cuban, don't get me wrong, I can't stand Mark Cuban. He's such a Laker hater. But Dirk has been a class act. And as far as Dwayne Wade goes, Dwayne Wade will go down as the third best shooting guard behind Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Now, some of you will argue Michael Jordan was a small forward, but I see him as a shooting guard, and I think Dwayne Wade will be the third best in line, and that's something because there's been a lot of greats to come through. But Dwayne Wade is also a class act. You know, he's always been a great person on and off the court, and it's sad to see these guys retire. I feel like a part of me dies. A part of me died when Kobe retired. I cried that day. You know, that was I saw his whole career unfold, and the same thing for these guys. You watch them from afar, you admire their talent, and all of a sudden they're not there no more. So we're blessed to have watched this that generation of talent, and on to the next one. You know, sometimes where a tree dies, a new one has to grow. So. He said, Klay Thompson or Wade at the end of their careers. I'll take Dwayne Wade, man. Dwayne Wade was a killer. Dwayne Wade was one of the top defensive guards as well. People forget he's a top shot blocker from the position, and he just had a lot of heart. Klay Thompson's inconsistent to me, and he's not as fun to watch as Dwayne Wade to me. I kind of feel like, to be honest, not to sound like a hater, but I feel like the Golden State Warriors kind of killed the NBA a little bit. All they do is shoot threes. They took away the mid-range game. They took away a lot of the slashing aspects of the game. And, it's just it's sad times, when you see your idols retire and then new players in the NBA coming in and changing up the game. I wish that the league wasn't as three-point oriented and so flop oriented, I'm going to miss these guys that play with passion and heart and will mix it up, mid-range game, three-point line, and slashing ability, and that is what Dwayne Wade is. Klay Thompson just runs behind screens and shoots threes, and then he'll slash from time to time, but he's really not the greatest ball handler or anything like that, He said Adidas jerseys are more lit. I like Adidas jerseys, but I'm a Nike guy. This was a birthday present, so and you guys know I love the Mamba, so I had to rock it today. Had to come on with my Mamba mentality. Had a lot of information to divulge, so pretty much I had to get it off my chest, guys. So that's pretty much, the end of this video, man. Thank you guys so much. Again, I have major content coming for you guys all summer long, but I got to wrap it up here. There's videos coming up in the future on who I would like as a head coach if Luke gets fired, but I got to wait till then. Who I would like to get drafted at, but I have to wait to see what position we're going to have and who's realistically going to be there. Major off-season videos coming up. Been a tough season, guys, but I appreciate all the support, all the love, all the donations, everybody showing up and just contributing to the comment section and everything, all the positivity through the hard times, everything. Thank you, guys. Again, I might not see you guys for the next couple of days, but I'll definitely be around, man. If anything breaks, you're going to see my face here again. So thank you guys so much. Have a great day, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.